All right, so we've got another client interview today. We've got the legend Gilad. Gilad, welcome to the call. You mind just giving like a quick introduction to who you are, what you do, all of that?
Yeah, perfect. Firstly, thanks for having me on, Ethan. I appreciate it. So my name's Gilad Janet. I'm the co-founder of Practify Accelerator, where essentially what we do is we help private practice owners grow their practice using paid ads, organic socials, and so forth. So that's a bit of a brief, high-level overview.
100%. And if they want to check out what you're doing, they can just search you up on YouTube as well.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
where I thought we could start on this one was just to get an idea of where you were before you obviously came on board. We had the conversations, all of that. So, when we were first speaking, I mean, what were the main problems you were facing at that time with the agency?
Yeah. So I came out of school. I knew that an agency was the best vehicle to get to where I wanted to be, but I wasn't quite sure on exactly how I was going to do that. So I was lacking structure. I didn't have any acquisition systems. I didn't have any tools to help me get to where I wanted to be. And then I came across your program, which obviously helps with all of that. It genuinely, the biggest thing for me, and I feel like this is where I've benefited the most, is just from having structure and just from having a railway of a direction of where you head in and knowing where you want to go. Also, I think the idea of being able to learn from someone who's already walked the path that you want to walk, it kind of helps you accelerate the whole process, because obviously the mistakes you made when you were getting started, you'd kind of give me a red flag and be like, look, like I've made this mistake. You don't want to make it. And I'd be aware of something that, whereas if I wasn't in the program, it's like I'd probably walk into the same problems that you did. So I feel like it's almost like I'll give you a good example. It's like when you go to the airport, there's like the normal line where you go through security, and then you have the discovery side, which is like the fast track line, and you like just kind of skip
Yeah,
the queue and go straight through. So I feel like
yeah.
your program is that in that sense.
Dude, that's a fantastic analogy. Should definitely use it on the sales calls. But that's fantastic, man. I appreciate it. And I want to ask as well because obviously a lot of people join the programs. Very few people they work as hard as you and your brother. It's like you're consistently there every single time. You're putting the work in. You're asking questions. I'm curious, like, what actually made you choose to start the agency in the first place? Because most people they're fine with a 9 to 5 with a normal path. Like, what made you guys do this?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think there's three reasons. The first is the time freedom that it offers. It's like
Mm,
you want to be your own boss. You want to work on your own schedule. You want to go away when you can. You don't want to be asking someone to take leave so you can go on a holiday over the weekend and like kind of miss half of Friday. So that's the first thing, time freedom, like being able to do what you want to do on your own accord. The second is location freedom. So the reason I started an agency was living in a country like South Africa, being able to earn in a foreign currency like dollars, pounds, whatever it is, if you convert it back into rands, it's like crazy. It's like you can live a way better lifestyle than they live in countries like the UK, America, but earn the same. So it's like you earn in the same, but you're able to do way more with that money in a country like South Africa. So that's the second, and then obviously the financial freedom, where it's like, as I touched on, you have the ability to earn in foreign currencies, take on foreign clients that aren't actually based in your country itself, and it's fully remote. So I think those are the three main reasons as to why we actually got started with the agency.
yeah, 100%. Like what you're saying is completely right, especially the part about being in South Africa, just like the earning potential and what it actually provides here. So I think that's fantastic. And then when we were speaking on the call the first time, I think you mentioned acquisition was the biggest problem. What specifically do you mean by that? Do you mind just expanding on like how it showed up as a problem, why it was a problem?
For sure. So I think the thing with acquisition is like, okay, everyone understands what it is. Essentially what you're doing is you're acquiring new clients, right? But the thing is that how do you do that? Like, yes, I need to get in front of them. Yes, I need to pitch my services, but it's like, what script can I use? What can I use that will once again fast track me, something that has proof of concept that's worked in the past for someone like yourself, and then kind of use it and put that to present my offer and the services that I can provide to any potential client. So yeah, I think that's really the point that I want to make on that one.
Yeah. You're completely right. And then, I mean, so obviously we cover the principles in our program. We spoke about it a lot on your side. I mean, just in case there are any of your potential clients watching, I mean, what's the approach that you take for your clients in terms of their acquisition?
Yeah. It's a great question because the niche that we in the healthcare niche, it's quite a touchy one. Like you
Yeah.
can't be as salesy in that as you can in
Yeah.
the agency world where it's like, look, like I'll help you add $5 million in like the next 7 days, or something crazy like that. So the approach that we've taken, organic has been super powerful, but based
Mm,
on recent testing, we've realized that it works way better when it's coupled with paid ads. So,
mm,
yes, you're doing the organic work. Yes, you're making people aware of what services you offer, but then actually paying a bit of money, and I don't want to mistake this as an expense, invest
yeah.
in a bit of money to see a much larger return. That's kind of
Mm,
what we've seen has worked best because we've tried both. We've gone just the paid route, just the organic, but truth be told, and this is based on previous experience, by coupling the two together, having that organic approach, having the investment side of things through the paid stuff is actually where we've seen the best results.
yeah. That's a great point. And what do you think makes that combination so effective?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the reason for the combination being so effective is that you kind of hit all avenues. It's like, look, this is what we do, this is who we help, this is our organic presence. And I feel like that almost fuels the paid stuff because just going into paid, like if you don't have that online presence and you're not really positioned as a thought leader, I feel like
Mm,
it just makes the whole acquisition and the latter stages of the funnel conversion point like a bit tougher. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I think the organic just helps with the chances and likelihood of actually converting those potential clients into actual, in this case, paying patients.
Yeah. So it's like if they already have the social presence, they already have people who know who they are, even people who don't know them, but they see the socials. If you run ads after that, it's going to be a lot more effective than if you just completely cold, no presence, anything there.
For sure. So essentially, what you're doing is you could say the organic stuff kind of comes into the nurturing part of the funnel, where it's like you try warm up these leads, make them aware of who you are, what you offer, how you can help, how you can solve their particular problem, and then later down the line actually convert that with paid ads and retargeting stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah. That actually goes on to the other thing I wanted to ask, because obviously in the program we spoke a lot about like the sales side, the outreach side, the metrics, the systems, all of that. But the thing that you've taken and you've obviously done a lot better than a lot of the other people in there is the content side. I mean, obviously you've got the nice setup, you've got the YouTube. I mean, what were some of the what were some of the things you applied on the content side? It doesn't even necessarily have to be from us, but what have you applied and what are the benefits you've seen in doing the content?
Yeah, so I think the benefits with content is that it's free. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, you need to gain trust, and it's very hard to do that by just asking for money up front. So I think where
Mm,
the content has been so powerful and helpful with us is like, look, we're gonna give you all this free value. We're gonna help you solve this, and that problem. And obviously, once we solve that problem, we're gonna reveal a new one, which is where we try to sell our services. But the point of
mm,
the content is really just to warm up all the cold leads, gain their trust, get them to a position where they actually can invest in our services, and then actually try and convert that 3, 4, 5, sometimes even 6 months down the line.
yeah. No, that's great, man. That's great. And then going on to that, I mean, so just taking it back, we had the call. When you like what it sounded like, you came on board. I guess what were some of the because we spoke quite a few times. What were some of
Yeah.
the takeaways or things you got from the program that you found even slightly useful? The main things for you.
Yeah, so it's a very good question, and I want to make this point crystal clear because I've also done Agency Accelerator, which is Iman Gadzi's program, which is brilliant. But if I had to compare the two, I'd say Iman's program was like 0 to like 5K. Like it's a brilliant program, don't get me wrong. But I feel like because he's catering to such a wide audience, it's not so niche specific. So it helps you get started, helps you create the agency, get it up, helps you pick a service and so forth. But I feel like with your program, it's a few steps further. So it's like, great, you've got to 5K, you're at 10K now. How do you take that further? How do you systemize stuff? How do you put it in a position where you can remove yourself from the day to day and actually allow the business to run by itself without your direct involvement, without you having to be stuck at a computer 24/7. So I feel like that was the difference for me. And I feel like I came to your program at a good time, at a good stage in my journey, because I feel like you grow out of the early stages very quickly. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of the
Mm.
comparison that I'd like to be crystal clear on.
I think you're completely right, because it's like a lot of people will be like, "Oh, but I joined AA," because we've got so many clients from there, and I think it's fantastic, to be honest.
It is.
But they'll be like, "Yeah, like I did it, but like I didn't get to 50K a month." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's not designed to get you to 50K a month." Like you were
Mm.
saying, it's like their goal is to get you started, get the first clients in, potentially
Mm.
even get to the 5, maybe the 10. But from there, it's like you've graduated. Like you just need the next step.
Yeah.
So going on to that one, because a lot of the guys, because we obviously have a ton of guys from AA, a lot of people who I still speak to in AA, they see like screenshots of you doing well, they hear about you doing well, and they always ask like, okay, what are these guys doing differently? So for someone who's in your position, maybe like a year ago, or these other people who are still in AA, to be honest, trying to figure things out, like, do you have any advice for them on how they can potentially make the jump like you're doing?
Yeah. I think people that were in a position that I was in, and just to kind of highlight what that position was like, great, like now I've got an agency, I've got the business set up, got my name, got my logo, kind of know what niche I'm in, know what particular pain point I want to solve, but not
Mm.
exactly crystal clear on service delivery. Or, okay, great, I've got a service that I want to offer, but how do I actually put that in front of potential clients? So if there is anyone that was in my position about a year back where I was only an agency accelerator looking to make the jump to your program, I'd say 100% do it, because it just helps you with the next steps, and a little latter stages within the agency. Like, I don't want to say you outgrow programs, but I feel like it gets to a point where, like, great, like you've been through the program, you've watched all the videos, you've gone to coaching calls on specific topics for weeks, which is great. And I suggest always going to that. And that's also one thing within your program that's been extremely beneficial, is the one-to-one accountability and the support. Um, but yeah, if anyone is looking to make that jump, I'd highly recommend it. I think it's very beneficial, and although it doesn't happen overnight, I think that you give the tools and support and systems for it to happen. Um, but the thing is that it's a long game. It's like, look, like you're offering coaching calls twice a week. So like, even if you don't get to your goal in the first year, it's like, it's
Yeah,
perfectly fine as long as you keep your head down, stay disciplined. Like, you are eventually going to get there.
yeah,
So I feel like, knowing that in the back of my head, knowing that Ethan, I don't have 10 calls left with Ethan, I don't have 5. It's
mm,
like I have unlimited. Like, the
yeah,
sky's literally the limit. So I feel like having that backbone and having that confidence in the system, and seeing all the other people who are achieving crazy results, and actually being lucky enough to meet with a few of them within the program, I feel
oh, yeah.
like it's been extremely beneficial.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I forgot we actually, um, when we were in Cape Town, we saw like James and stuff, but 100%, man. And I appreciate it a ton. Because the thing is, like, you may not see it, but when you're on the coaching calls and there's like, maybe like 10, 15 people there, half of them are like, their cameras off, they're doing something else. They're actually watching. And it's like when you come on the call and it's like, oh, I had this sales call, I signed this client, I did this thing. Like, I get tons of messages of them being like, hey, how did you do that though? Like I heard Gilad mention this, I heard James mention this. It's like, how did you actually do that? So a lot of the guys in the program, especially the ones who come from AA, like they really do look up to what you're doing. So I mean, I appreciate you recommending like our program, but in terms of advice, let's say there's someone starting out, they pick their niche, they got their website, they got their logo, like you were saying, but they're just like unclear on the million things they could be doing. It's like obviously joining us aside, but like they're just like overwhelmed, they're just like scattered. How would you advise them to like, okay, firstly figure out what to do, what to focus on, and then how to just stay consistent in doing that?
Yeah. Honestly, I think if you can just analyze exactly what you're doing, like, for
Yeah.
example, at the end of the day, just write down a quick summary of what you did, what worked, what didn't work, and then just keep tweaking for what actually is working. And based on what is working, just continue implementing that, do more of it, and then slowly just cross off what isn't working. And I feel like if you have the ability to be disciplined for a long period of time without having to see results immediately, and when I
Mm,
say immediately, I don't mean in 3, 6, or 12 months. I mean, like, if you can keep your head down for a year, 2 years,
mm,
3 years, 4 years, 5 years, it's like, I'll guarantee you'll see results. So as long as you know that in the back of your mind, and it's hard, don't get me wrong, because you see these crazy case studies of like 1 million in 5 months or whatever. But I feel like if you come in with that mindset, you can't really lose. It's like,
yeah,
I can't lose if I just keep going.
yeah, 100%, man. I agree completely. And I think what you said there is so key when it's like, because people will hear like, oh, you got to wait it out. They were like, okay, cool, 60 days then. Like, no, no, it's not 60 days. It's like some, I mean, I went my first 7 months without being able to even get a positive reply on my outreach when I started. So it's like, same on, like you mentioned, like, look, join the calls every week, take action every week. Maybe it'll be 3 months, maybe six, maybe even 12. But then once you start getting it right, then it just starts compounding,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
And it
completely,
takes time. It does. Like, I remember when we actually met in Cape Town and we discussed this, we
yeah,
sat down and was like, I remember saying to you, yeah, it's great to learn from someone that's walked the path, but until I've actually been in the deep end myself, it's very
yeah,
hard for me to implement that. Like, you can tell
yeah,
me what to say and what tonality to have on sales calls, but without the repetition and the practice
yeah,
and actually being thrown in the deep end, it's very hard. Like, to be
yeah,
completely honest with you, I took 53 sales calls before I closed my first client from outbound. Like,
dude.
that's that's the stuff you don't see.
Yeah, yeah. There's your story though, man. Because now it's like, if anyone ever comes to you and they're like, "Man, I took 10 calls," you can be like, "Dude, I took 53." So I think that's fantastic, man.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, the average case study is like, this is how I closed 96.4% of my sales calls. And it's like, how's that possible? I literally just took 53 and I only just closed my first one. So I think
Yeah,
I think if you can understand that it's a long process, and as I said, if you keep your head down for a long period of time without having
yeah,
to see instant gratification, I feel like it can be a really, really hard
yeah,
but enjoyable process. And the truth is that at the
yeah,
end of the road, you'll reap the rewards if you can keep your head down. But the truth is that most can't. And that's why most
yeah.
quit after 6 months.
100%, man. And that's why I asked you the questions, like, for these guys, because they just can't stick with it, man. They just can't. So that's why I asked you, like, okay, how did you do it? How did you stay on this? How are you so consistent with it? Because 53 sales calls, I know people, if they took two, they would start crying, you know?
Yeah.
So no, I think that's fantastic, man. So look, we'll end things there, but I do want to ask, for people who want to learn more about you, follow your story, potentially even become a client, like, where can they actually reach you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, great question. So YouTube at Gilad Janet, Instagram also Gilad Janet. If you want to see exactly what we do, how we help health practitioners, head over to Practify Accelerator. And if you're actually a practitioner that's looking to speak about your services and what you have to offer, we've recently started a podcast called Practify Podcast, where we feature
Nice.
private practice owners who want to share their stories and share the mindset behind their growth and ultimately
Nice.
just benefit other practitioners. You can head over to Instagram at Practify Podcast.
That's great, man. All right, Gilad, it was great having you on, man. Appreciate you joining, and I will talk to you very soon.
Appreciate it, Ethan. Thanks so much.